So hello everyone. So we are on our last group of reporting, which our topic is about Larong Pinoy. So our group is composed of 6 students. Yours truly, Rachel Cabanlet, Marites Olivera, Olimpio Rodela, Princess Joy Ladrada, Chelsea Charlotte, and Arlene Langot. With the past reporters po, we have talked about different games, which is about arnis, about badminton, about camping, basketball, and mountaineering. So with this topic po, now we will go to our local games. That's why po, ang title ng ating topic is Larong Pinoy. So we all know po that Larong Pinoy ay composed of maraming laro. But with this topic po, ang pagtutuunan po natin ng pansin ay ang 5 laro, which is kadang-kadang, agawan buko, sipa, langit lupa, at agawan base. So magpo-focus po muna tayo sa 5 larong ito. So I hope po that when we are going to discuss this topic, you will learn something new, and at the same time, jump back tayo sa ating past, iisipin natin kung ano po yung mga magagandang aral na dala ng mga larong ito. So ano nga ba ang Larong Pinoy? A traditional Filipino games, or commonly known as Larong Pinoy, are an important part of Philippine culture. These games such as, gaya nga po ng nasabi ko kanina, magpo-focus po tayo sa 5 games, kadang-kadang, agawan base, agawan buko, langit lupa, at saka sipa. So these are physical activity, teamwork, strategy, and a social interaction among children. In today's digital age, alam naman po natin na yung sa ngayon po, yung mga panahon ngayon, it's more on digital. Revisiting these traditional games will help us learn to appreciate our cultural heritage while developing physical fitness, cooperation, and critical thinking skills. Through this activity, student will explore and experience the value of traditional Filipino games as tools for holistic development. So, sa topic po na ito, malalaman po natin o babalikan po natin ang pagiging bata natin. Babalikan natin kung paano nangyari, ano yung mga aktibidades na ginagawa po natin sa noong unang panahon, kumpara sa ngayon na more on digital na po. Here is the objective. At the end of the activity, the learners will be able to identify and describe the rules and mechanics and explain the cultural importance of Larong Pinoy in Filipino society. Develop enjoyment and positive attitude towards physical activity. And lastly, learners will be able to demonstrate balance, coordination, agility, speed, and strategy movement while actively participating in physical activities. So let's start with Kadang-Kadang. So Kadang-Kadang is a traditional Filipino outdoors games where players walk or race using improvised Filipino stilts. It is one of the well-known Larong Pinoy, Filipino traditional games that promotes balance, coordination, and teamworks, usually played during school activities, barangay event, or even cultural celebration in the Philippines. Kadang-Kadang reflects Filipino creativity and resourcefulness, as the stilts are commonly made from bamboo poles and coconut shells. So dalawang uri po siya. It's either made po siya ng bamboo stilts, gaya po ng nakikita nyo po sa picture, or made po siya ng coconut shells, which is also connect with the bamboo. It's either the bamboo or connect with a rope. So this game is not only recreational but it's also educational, at it enhances physical fitness, and of course you will have a social interaction among children, and not just children, even youth and even adults. Now let's go to the history of kadang-kadang. Kadang-kadang originated in rural communities in the Philippines where bamboo is abundant. Long before modern toys and gadgets become popular, Filipino children created games from natural materials found in their surroundings. O diba? Napaka very creative. Bamboo stilts were crafted by attaching a small wooden or a coconut shell. Gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, it's either i-connect nyo po siya sa another bamboo or i-connect nyo po yung bamboo stilts sa coconut shells. Footers to long bamboo poles. So gaya po parang ano po siya, like may coconut po siya dito at tapos i-connect po yung bamboo pataas na magiging hawakan nyo. So yun po yung pangalawang klase ng kadang-kadang. Ano po, the kadang-kadang is actually first recorded na play sa Cebu. What year? Noong 1969. It is also known as karang or tiyakad in Tagalog. It is officially introduced as an organized game in 1969 during Laro ng Lahi. So, ang symbolize po niya ay simplicity, creativity, and of course, the physical agility. So, yun po yung history ng kadang-kadang. So, ano po yung rules niya? At dito rin po malalaman po natin kung ano dapat ang skills na meron ka if you want to play kadang-kadang. So, the rules are, the starting position stand behind the line. So, gaya po ng ibang mga palaro, mag-i-stand ka po behind the line. Tapos, ang goal po, ang magiging objective is to reach the finishing line. Move. How you gonna move? It's either you walk or you run. Depende kung paano mo or gaano mo kayang i-balance yung sarili mo. As you can see po, dyan sa picture, makikita nyo po na yung isang bata is made of yung, is galing from the coconut shell at tapos yung hinahawakan niya ay bamboo stilt po. Pero yung sa isang picture din po, makikita natin na lahat po siya ay made of bamboo. But both of this one, you have to have a skills of balance, coordination. Paano ka makikipag-coordinate? O anong klaseng coordination yung kailangan mo dito? Yung coordination na kailangan mo dito is yung coordination ng kamay at saka yung paa. Kasi sabay mo siyang iaangat. Sabay ng pag-angat ng paa mo at ang kamay mo na you gonna raise it or like pulling the feet po. So yung strength, gaano ba ka-strength yung balancing mo? At of course, yung perseverance. Pag na-fall ka from the balancing, kaya mo pa bang tumayo? Kaya mo pa bang ipagpatuloy yung race? Kaya kailangan mo ang apat na skills na to. Kailangan mo ng balance, kailangan mo ang coordination, kailangan mo ng strength, out of course, kailangan mo ng perseverance. In addition po, kadang-kadang, sometimes gumagawa po sila ng rules. So, ano po yung rules? Halimbawa po nito. Depende po ito sa pakikipag-coordinate nyo po sa group. Which is, yung minsan po, nagsasabi po sila na kapag nalaglag ka from the kadang-kadang na inaapakan mo, pag nalaglag ka, kailangan mong bumalik sa pinanggalingan mo. And then, magsimula ka ulit doon. Okay? But depende pa rin po iyon sa rules ng maglalaro. Kasi minsan din, nagsasabi din sila na, you just get up, patong ka ulit, tapos lakad or takbo ka as much as you can or as fast as you can. So, nagdidepende po yan sa rule na napag-usapan ng bawat grupo. At ang mananalo po sa kadang-kadang ay kung sino po yung unang grupo na maka-cross sa finish line. Halimbawa mo po, kahit ilang beses kang nahulog sa kadang-kadang, as long as mas nauna kayong nakarating sa inyong goal or yung finish line, then kayo po ang mananalo or kayo po ang panalo. In conclusion, kadang-kadang is more than just a traditional game. It is actually a cultural symbol of Filipino creativity and active lifestyle. It promotes physical fitness, teamwork, and resilience among players. In today's digital age, where many children spend time on gadget, reviving traditional games like kadang-kadang helps encourage outdoor play and cultural appreciation. So, kailangan po nating i-appreciate po ang ating sariling atin. We bring back our, yung dating atin, yung dating tayo na nakikipaglaro, nakikipag-communicate, and at the same time, we have teamwork. So, in recommendation, schools should include kadang-kadang in physical education programs. Communities should organize Larong Pinoy event to preserve traditional games. O diba, mas maganda kasi na mapreserve po natin ang ating sariling laro, sariling traditional na laro. So, teachers should integrate the game into lesson about Filipino culture and history. Kasi dumarating na yung time na nakakalimutan na natin yung ating sariling atin. So, isn't it nice na balikan po natin yung pinagmulan ng ating mga laro? So, safety measures, of course, kailangan po na i-secure po natin na safety yung mga laro. Parents should encourage children to participate traditional outdoor games. Hindi lang po kasi ito sa pakikipagkapwa-tao, but it's also about being friendly, being in physical fitness po. At doon po nagtatapos ang ating report about kadang-kadang. So, here are the reference po kung saan ko po sinearch yung mga bagay na isinare ko a while ago. I hope that we've learned something or refresh our mind, our knowledge about Larong Pinoy. And for the next topic po, Miss Marites Olivera will also discuss about one of Larong Pinoy, which is Agawan Buko. So I hope you continue to watch and we continue to grow and bring back the beauty of our games, our Larong Pinoy. Have a good day, everyone.
Good day everyone, my name is Marites Olivera and I will be reporting the Larong Pinoy Agawan Buko game. The Agawan Buko game is a lively traditional Filipino game commonly played during outdoor gatherings, school activities, and community celebrations. It involves teamwork, speed, and strategy as players compete to protect or steal a buko or coconut. As part of Larong Pinoy, Agawan Buko highlights Filipino values such as cooperation, alertness, and fair play, making it both entertaining and educational for children and youth in the Philippines. Agawan Buko, also known as Coconut Scramble, is a game typically played during celebrations, gatherings, fiestas, and festivals. It uses unpeeled coconuts as the main prop, and players compete to grab the coconut. The history of Agawan Buko is it is a traditional Filipino or Larong Pinoy game often played during fiestas and festivals. Originating from rural community gatherings, it involves players struggling to grab a greased, unpeeled coconut, testing strength and agility. The game promotes camaraderie and competitiveness rooted in cultural traditions. However, there is a limited detailed historical documentation about the specific origin and the development of the Agawan Buko game. Like many other traditional Filipino games, it has been passed down through generations and was more widely played in the early 1980s and 1990s. The rules or materials needed in the Agawan Buko game is it uses unpeeled coconuts or one coconut or buko. Two teams with an equal number of players. One player from each team stands in the center to guard the coconut. The objective is to steal the coconut from the opposing team's guard and bring it safely back to one's basement. Players may run, dodge, and use strategies to distract the guard. The team with the most successful steals within the given time wins. The safety rule is no pushing, tripping, or rough physical contact is not allowed. The skills of the Agawan Buko: player must move quickly and change direction to avoid being tagged. Making a team member's plan when and how to distract the guard or steal the coconut. Success depends on cooperation and communication among the teammates. Both guards and attackers must stay attentive to movements and the signals. Players have learned to follow rules and respect the opponents. Conclusion of Agawan Buko: Agawan Buko is a dynamic traditional game that strengthens physical abilities and social skills, while fostering enjoyment and camaraderie. It is not just a game, but an important part of Filipino cultural heritage. It brings people together, promotes physical activity, and helps pass on traditional values and customs. Despite facing the challenges from modern forms of entertainment, its significance in preserving Filipino culture should not be overlooked. The recommendations of the Agawan Buko game is: before playing, teachers or facilitators should clearly explain the mechanics, objectives, and safety precautions before starting the game to avoid confusion and injuries. Use safer alternatives when necessary for younger learners. A soft ball or lightweight object may be used instead of a real coconut to ensure the safety. Encourage inclusive participation. Modify rules so that all students, including those with different physical abilities, can be actively participate. And thank you for listening, everyone.
So hello po everyone. So I'm back again, but this time po ang laro po na i-discuss ko is about the larong sipa. So is there any of you na nakabasag po ng window dahil sa larong sipa? Well, not me. Okay, so but some of my friend had broke the window dahil sa paglalaro ng sipa. So what is sipa? So sipa is a traditional Filipino games, of course, involving kicking from the word sipa, a small object to keep it airborne, using only the feet. It promotes physical activity, coordination, and cultural heritage. So, yung iba, ginagamit lang paa since it's sipa naman. But for me, yung dati nakikipaglaro kami, gamit minsan yung kamay, or either siko, as long as the sipa will remain on the air. Okay? Hindi siya dapat malaglag. So, the history of sipa. Sipa has a rich history spanning several hundred years. Played during festival and community gatherings, showcasing Filipino culture and heritage through lively participation. So, ngayon, pag tinatanong ka ng, marunong ka bang maglaro ng sipa, that come up into their mind. Actually, I asked some of my kasama dito sa trabaho. They will say like, sipak takraw. But no, what I want to know, what I want to hear is the sipa, or we call it also takyan. We call it takyan. So here are the rules of sipa. Objective: keep the sipa off the ground as long as possible. Gaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, dapat nasa airborne lang siya. So, gameplay. Use only feet and legs to control and kick effectively. So, gamit lang po yung paa. So, depende lang po yan sa inyong ka-teammates kung ano po yung napag-usapan ninyo. Kasi sa amin dati, ang ano namin is po pwedeng kamay or po pwedeng siko. Okay? So, participation can be played solo or in teams, offering flexibility. Yung scoring is based on successful kicks or match rules followed. Turn ends if the sipa touches the ground during the play. So, pag nalaglag na po siya sa lupa, then it's game end. Your turn is already ended. So, by next player na naman ulit, pag nalaglag na yung sipa sa ground. So, sa skills naman tayo. Skills, what are the skills that you need to play the sipa? First, foot-eye coordination. So, kailangan po ng mata, kailangan mong tingnan kung saan na napunta yung sisipain mo. Essential for accurately kicking the sipa and maintaining control. Dapat mong makontrol kasi pag hindi mo nakita yung sisipain mo, hindi mo makita yung sisipain mo, paano mo na naman siya makontrol? So, agility helps players move swiftly to keep the sipa airborne para mapanatili siyang nasa itaas at hindi siya po pwedeng malaglag sa lupa. Of course, kailangan mo rin ng timing, which is crucial siya for executing kick at the right moment. Kasi pag nauna ka ng sipa, ay hindi mo na siya matatamaan, or pag na-late naman siya, syempre malalaglag siya. Concentration, necessary to focus on the sipa and gameplay. So, minsan nga kami dati pag naglalaro kami, minsan parang dinidisturb namin yung naglalaro para baga mawala yung concentration niya. Then, of course, lastly, balance. Importante siya kasi it makes you stability, it makes you stable while executing various kicking and technique. Kasi nga, di ba, isang paa itataas mo, isisipa mo while you're using one foot to stand. Okay? So, kailangan mo ng balance to make stable. Okay? In conclusion, sipa is not just a game. It preserves Filipino culture, encourages fitness, and of course, teamwork, and promotes health. Its playful nature fosters community spirit and cultural pride among participants. So, mostly po talaga ng ating mga laro ay nagpo-promote po talaga siya ng teamwork, which is very important po sa mga laro. Kailangan mo ng teamwork. And of course, it will promote your health kasi kailangan mong lumabas, makipaglaro, makipag-usap, you join the fun, being with other kids or being with other people. So here are the recommendation. School programs should include sipa in PE classes to enhance student engagement. Local tournaments, organized event to foster community interaction and youth participation. Digital promotion use social media to showcase sipa and its cultural significance. Cultural education, teach the history of sipa alongside its gameplay for enrichment. Community involvement, encourage families to participate in playing, and of course to promote sipa. So here are the references again of the report or the Larong Pinoy, which is SIPA. So as you can see po, mababasa nyo po dyan. At kung gusto nyo pong malaman pa more than, makaalam pa na more than anything about SIPA, of course, you can always search about it and you can use these references as well. Okay? So by our next topic, which is Langit Lupa, and this will be reported by Miss Chelsea Charot. Have a good day, everyone.
Good day everyone, my name is Chelsea Charot from Mindanao Cluster, and my topic is about Langit Lupa. Introduction of Langit Lupa or Heaven and Earth is a traditional Filipino chasing game played by children, usually in streets or schoolyards, where one it or taya tries to tag players who are safe only while standing on elevated surfaces. It promotes agility, social interaction, and creativity by using the environment such as stairs or benches as langit or heaven, while the ground is lupa or earth. Ang langit lupa ay isang tradisyonal na larong habul-habulan ng mga bata dito sa Pilipinas. At sa ating mga kabataan, ay nalaro din natin ito. Ligtas lamang ang isang manlalaro kapag nakatayo sa mataas na lugar na tinatawag na langit. Kapag bumaba sa lupa ay pwede siyang habulin ng nasa taya na posisyon. History of Langit Lupa or anong pinagmulan ng Langit Lupa? Langit Lupa is a traditional laro ng lahi, game of the race that serves as a cultural metaphor for Filipino spiritual belief and social structures. Historical meaning: symbolic duality. The name translates to heaven and earth. It reflects to a religious worldview where langit, called it heaven, is a place of safe and lupa or earth is a place of vulnerability. Colonial fusion. The game's chant is a mix of indigenous and Spanish colonial influences. Before Catholicism, ancient Filipinos had no concept of internal suffering. The addition of impierno or hell and references to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Saksak Puso reflects the Christianization of the Philippines. Social metaphor. In modern Philippine culture, the game often interpreted as a parallel for social struggle, representing the divide between those standing in power or on langit and those toiling on the land below. Ancestral transmission. While its exact inventor is unknown, it has been organically handed down through generations, teaching children resourcefulness by using their immediate environment as safe zone. Ang Langit Lupa ay isang tradisyonal na laro ng lahi na sumasalamin sa espiritual na paniniwala at instrukturang panlipunan ng mga Pilipino. Symbolic o duality or simbolismo. Langit ay lupa ng kaligtasan, lupa ay lugar ng panganib. Kulturang pinaghalo, colonial fusion. May halo ang awit ng indigenous at impluensyang Espanyol. Lipunang metaphor, social metaphor. Sumasagisag sa labanang panlipunan sa pagitan ng nasa kapangyarihan at karaniwang tao. Pagmana ng nuno. Ancestral transmission. Pinagtuloy sa mga henerasyon, itinuro ang likas na pagiging maparaan. To play Langit Lupa, you need to know the rules and skills needed for this game. To play Langit Lupa, you need to master the balance between the safe, elevated zones and the dangerous ground. The basic rules. The taya or called it. One player is designated as the it to chase others. This is usually rhyme where the last person pointed at becomes the tagger. Isang manlalaro na tagahabol. Langit or heaven. These are elevated spots like stairs, benches, or rocks. Players are safe from being tagged while standing there. Mataas na lugar, safe ang mga manlalaro dito. Lupa or earth. The ground level. The it
can only tag players who are standing on the ground. Pwedeng habulin lang ng taya ang mga manlalaro kung nasa nila sa lupa. The exchange. When the it tags someone on the ground, the person becomes the new taya or called it. Kapag nahuli ng taya, siya na ang bagong taya. The exchange. Stay limit. To keep the game moving, players can stay on langit indefinitely. They must transfer to another safe spot periodically. Hindi pwedeng nasa iisang lugar lamang, dapat ay lumipat ng ibang spot para hindi maging taya. Skills required or needs. Agility and speed. Essential for evading the tagger when running between safe zone. Required ang liksi at bilis para takbuhin ang safe zone o ang ibang spots. Balance. Necessary for standing on uneven or narrow elevated surfaces. Required ang balanse or balance upang tumayo sa mga makitid na lugar. Spatial awareness. The ability to identify the nearest elevated spot quickly while under pressure. Required ang kamalayan sa kapaligiran upang madaling makalipat ng ibang lugar, ng ibang spot. Strategic thinking. Deciding when to jump down to lure it away from other players. Required ang estratehiya upang makatulong sa mga kasamang manglalaro. Conclusion. In conclusion, Langit Lupa is more than just a game of tag or larong habulan. It is a living cultural artifact that reflects the resiliency and resourcefulness of Filipino children. By blending pre-colonial concepts with Spanish religious influences, it remains a significant part of the laro ng lahi, heritage, fostering physical agility, social bonding, and environmental awareness. Whether viewed as a simple playground activity or a social metaphor, the game continues to be a cherished symbol of Filipino childhood identity in both physical and digital space. Sa huli, ang langit, lupa ay hindi lamang isang laro, kundi ito ay simbolo ng tibay at liksi ng mga kabataang Pilipino. Pinaghalo ang mga konseptong pre-colonial at impluensyang Espanyol na nanatiling mahalaga sa laro ng lahi. My recommendation about playing Langit Lupa or Heaven and Earth. To get the most out of Langit Lupa, here are some recommendations to keep the game fair, safe, and exciting. Gameplay tips. Add a count rule. It or the taya counts 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, then players must leave langit. Ang taya daw po is magbibilang siya ng 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 para makalipat po yung players. Pag hindi po sila lilipat, they are taya na po. Switch spots often. Move to a new langit every seconds. If the player allows to change spots or place every 30 seconds. Fair play. It or the taya must move away from langit for others to switch. Yung taya daw po is lalayo po siya sa mga players para po lipat po sila ng spots or place po na pwede po nilang kalilipatan. Pick it differently. Try jack and poi, rock, paper, scissors, and stone. And the most important of playing Langit Lupa is the safety. Safety first. Check the langit, spots, make sure they're safe and sturdy. Dapat i-check nyo yung lilipatan nyo if safety ba. Set play boundaries. Keep away from danger zone. huwag kayong lilipat sa danger zone o yung slippery po na lugar. The last one is wear proper shoes. This is the you are going to wear the shoes for better grip and balance. In here are the references. And that's all concludes my report about Langit Lupa. And the next reporter will be Ma'am Princess Joy Landrada with the topic of Agawan Base.
Good morning everyone, I am Princess Joy Ladrada and today I will explain one of the traditional Filipino game called Agawan Base. It is a popular outdoor game in the Philippines that many children play in schools and communities. This game is fun because it involves running, teamwork, and strategy. For the Agawan Base is a popular traditional outdoor game in the Philippines that highlights speed, strategy, and teamwork. The term Agawan means to snatch or to capture, while base refers to the team's home territory. The main goal of the game is to tag opponents and successfully reach or capture the opposing team's base without being tagged. Agawan Base is commonly played in school, playgrounds, open fields, and barangay gatherings, and it promotes physical fitness and cooperation while preserving Filipino cultural traditions. So, Agawan Base is usually played in a large open area, like playground or field. The players are divided into two teams, and each team has their own base. Like for example, if a player from one team runs toward the other team's base and touches it without being tagged, their team can win. But if the opponent tags the player while they are outside their base, that player may be captured. So this game becomes exciting because players must think quickly and work together with their teammates. Okay, so let's proceed to the history. Agawan Base is believed to have developed from informal chasing and territory-style games played by Filipino children in rural communities of the Philippines. Long before organized sports became common in schools, children would gather in open fields, streets, or rice paddies after daily chores to play competitive running games that required no equipment, only space and teamwork. The concept of guarding and capturing a base may have been influenced by community life in early Filipino villages, where protecting one's area and working together were important for safety and survival. Over time, these playful simulations of defense and strategy evolved into what is now known as Agawan Base. So, Agawan Base is started from simple chasing games played by Filipino children a long time ago. Before there were many organized sports, children would play outside in fields or streets. So like for example, after finishing their daily course, children in rural areas gathered to play running games that did not require any equipment. Over time, these games developed into what we now know as Agawan Base. So next is the rules of the Agawan Base. So the first rule is about the players. In this game, there are two teams with equal members. Usually, each team has about 5 to 10 players. Having equal members makes the game fair for both teams. The second rule is about the playing area. So the game should be played in a wide open space. There should also be two bases that are clearly marked and placed at opposite ends of the area. These bases serve as the safe zones for each team. So the third rule explains the objective of the game. The goal is to capture the opponent's base or tag as many opponents as possible. Teams must work together and use a strategy to win the game. And for the fourth rule, explains how the game starts. At the beginning, players stay near their own base and wait for the signal to begin. Once the signal is given, the game officially starts. And the fifth rule is about tagging. A player can tag an opponent who is outside their base. When a player is tagged, they are considered cut. And the sixth rule explains how teammates can be freed. If a player is tagged, a teammate can free them by tagging them without getting caught. This encourages teamwork and cooperation. And the seventh rule is about winning the game. A team wins if they successfully touch the opponent's base or if they capture all the players from the other team. And the last rule is about safety. So players are not allowed to push, trip, or use rough physical contact during the game. This rule is important to make sure everyone stays safe while playing. So, those are the 8 rules of the game. Following these rules helps keep the game fair, organized, and enjoyable for everyone. So next we have the skills. So the first skill is speed and endurance. In this game, players need to run quickly in order to avoid being tagged and to chase opponents. At the same time, they must have endurance so they can keep their energy throughout the whole game. And the second skills is strategic thinking. So players and teams need to plan their moves carefully. They should think about when to attack the opponent's base and when to defend their own base. So good strategy helps the team increase their chances of winning. And for the third skill is teamwork and communication. So players must cooperate and communicate with their teammates during the game. By working together and coordinating their actions, the team can perform better and support each other. And for the fourth skill is the alertness. Players need to be attentive and aware of their surroundings, especially the movements of their opponents. Being alert helps them react quickly and avoid getting tagged. And the fifth skill is leadership. A team may have a leader who helps guide the strategies and assign rules to each member. Good leadership helps organize the team and makes the gameplay more effective. So these skills are important because they help players perform better, work together as a team, and increase their chances of winning the game. So for the conclusion, Agawan Base remains a meaningful and engaging traditional Filipino game that promotes physical activity, cooperation, and strategic thinking through running, tagging, and planning team strategies. Players develop not only physical strength and endurance but also important social values such as unity, respect, and leadership. For our recommendation, so the first recommendation is that schools should incorporate Agawan base into physical education programs. This means that schools can include this traditional game in PE classes so students can learn Filipino culture while also improving their physical fitness. And the second recommendation is that teachers should emphasize teamwork and fair play during the activity. This means teachers should remind students to cooperate with their teammates and follow the rules to make the game fair for everyone. And the third recommendation is that communities should organize Larong Pinoy festivals to preserve traditional games, and this helps promote Filipino culture and encourages people, especially the youth, to continue playing traditional games like Agawan Base. And the fourth is that clear boundaries and safety guidelines should be established before playing. This is important to make sure that players know the playing area and follow safety rules to avoid accidents. And the fifth recommendation is that Reflection activities may be conducted after the game. This means players can discuss what they learned from the game, such as cooperation, teamwork, and leadership. So, these recommendations helps make the game more organized, safe, and meaningful for the players. So, okay, that would be all my discussion about Agawan Base, and thank you for your listening.
So that's the end po for our topic about Larong Pinoy. I hope you guys learned something or in some way remember all the history about our very own games. God bless everyone and see you again next time. Bye-bye!